starting at a definite point right now. Hi, my name is Rachel. This is a podcast run by STEM Pathways at BU, and so every 2 weeks or so we're going to be bringing you topics in synthetic biology. But this first week we thought that we would do something a little bit more fun. So we're doing the STEM Social, where we're going to talk about how we're social outside of STEM, because engineers don't just live in caves. Well, sometimes they do, but like not usually. So I want all of our panelists to go around and say their name, where they kind of are in life, so like where you are in your career, your place of birth, and a fun fact about yourself. So I'll go first. My name is Rachel. I am a junior in Biomedical Engineering undergrad at BU, and I am from Garner, North Carolina. And my fun fact is that my elbows are double jointed. Who wants to go next? Just jump in.
Hi, I'm Pippa. I'm from Utrecht, the Netherlands. I'm a first year in mechanical engineering, and a fun fact is I have to put my right shoe on first. It feels wrong if I do it the other way. And like it upsets me the entire day, so.
Well, I'll go next. My name is Dinithi. I'm a sophomore in biomedical engineering. I was born in Sri Lanka. I lived there until I was 9. Then I moved to Singapore, and from Singapore I've come here to Boston to go to university. I guess my fun fact is that for, I think, almost 10 years, I traveled on a passport where my last name was misspelled. And nobody realized until one day at the border crossing from Shanghai, they told me, yeah, your name doesn't match any of your other documentation. I was like, well then. So yeah, that is my fun fact. It took a long time to get fixed. But yeah.
It's fixed now.
It is fixed now,
Perfect.
yes.
So if someone is watching this and works like border control, it's fixed.
Yes, it is fixed.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm Manuel Gimenez, but everybody calls me Manu. I'm a second year master student in biomedical engineering here at BU. This is my second master because I studied computer science back home in Argentina. That's where I'm from. And the fun fact is that I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan. Yeah, a little monster.
Props.
He is. We all should be. Yeah.
So, who are you?
Me. I'm Josh. I am a master's student at BU in the ECE department, working with Doug Densmore. I'm from New York. My parents are both in different countries, Peru and Hungary. And let's see, that could be my fun fact, but no, I guess my fun fact is that, I guess related to that, even though I'm an American citizen born here, I currently possession of non-American passport, but my Hungarian one because of tardiness with forms.
Me too!
Yeah.
Yay for dual passports. Okay, so now this conversation is just supposed to be about what do you guys do that's not actually in your careers. And so we actually assembled you guys because we thought you were a diverse range of humans with lots of interests outside of STEM. So just jumping in, what are your goals outside of your work?
Interesting. This might sound cliche, but I say being happy, like feeling like fulfilled. I know that's kind of high level.
That is high level.
I know it's high level.
Would you like to elaborate a little
Okay,
bit
of
further?
course.
Down to specific details.
Okay, for me.
How does one be happy?
What's your
Okay.
5-year plan?
No, for me, I think that is being surrounded by people that you feel you can trust. That you can feel that they're gonna be with you in the good moments or the bad moments, and changing the world, right? Because the world is a very unfair place, and why don't we just invest our time here trying to make it better? I know it sounds cliche. That's what I think. Yeah,
Especially for a reason, it's a good thing that everyone aspires.
That second one sounded like work though.
Why?
Fixing the world. That sounds like what that is not. Is that a goal outside of work, or is that
Yeah,
a
of
goal for
course.
your research?
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes, like I would love to say that I'm gonna change the world through science, but most likely I'm gonna change the world by helping someone that I meet.
On the street.
Yeah, on the street. I'm gonna change the world going to a demonstration with people. I'm gonna change the world like saying that I'm against a particular public policy that is trying to be implemented. I hope, I cross my fingers that I can change the world through science and technology, but I don't know.
I think it's like the little things, like you change someone's life, you're already changing the world. I tried to do that once. I told a guy to stop smoking and he stepped on my foot. So
Good story.
that was a successful venture. But,
No, I like when, like, for me, going off of that, and, like, you know, trying to change the world, I try to do that partially by, you know, attempting to change people's views on something, like prevent an alternate way of viewing something, particularly, like, with the current political climate and stuff. So I'm the kind of person who, if I see something very offensive on Facebook, I will definitely comment and, like, be very polite and try to change someone's views, and it's never worked. I've actually deleted Facebook like 3 times to try to do that, and it's never worked. But
That's
I
why
can
I'm
still
not polite.
That's why Josh isn't polite.
I just drag them. Yeah.
All right, then, Josh, what are your goals outside of work?
So I guess to be somewhat cliche as well. So I guess another thing about me is I actually did my undergrad. I finished back in 2009. I came back to school after a bunch of years of working because I decided, I really didn't like what I was doing, and I want to build things.
And it was also 2009.
It was 2009, right? So you took what work you get out of college. So I ended up like doing IT, I guess. But yeah, so I came back. I'd said 2015 or so. I was like, I'm going to figure out what I want to do, and so I left my job. I like traveled for a bit, and I decided to apply for schools, and here I am. Now I'm actually going to finish my master's after this semester, and now I'm kind of I get to the point like, I did this to kind of do like what I want to do and what makes me happy in a sense, kind of like Manu was saying, and I was like, well, I still have to kind of figure out what that means to some degree, but so I definitely want to. I guess a big thing for me that I've started with and had to learn to do was to be true to myself, I guess, in that regard, and try not to betray, what I perceive myself to be, I suppose. Because it's very easy in lots of situations to, do what's easy or expected, certainly in a certain sense. And I definitely had that kind of towards the end of my time here, even. And not to knock anyone doing a PhD at all, but I had a decision at what point where I had to decide, like, if someone kind of do a PhD or do kind of throw myself back out to the world and do that, and like I had to realize that I don't have myself a particularly great reason to do one, so I'm not going to do one right now. I'll wait a bit, and that's why I'm heading back out into the great unknown again.
I imagine that when someone prepared these questions, they were not expecting us to like make it so deep answer, right? Sorry. But in the inside, we're very deep.
Yeah, we're very engineers and STEM people are very deep people. So, yes.
well, now the bar is this high.
No.
Yeah, right. What are your goals? We've already
Yeah.
covered being happy and helping the world. You have to pick other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
You also have being true to yourself. So.
Oh yes.
Any
and
more?
yourself.
Yeah. I guess for me, I think relationships are really important. So I grew up in 6 different countries, and so you constantly have to move around and you have to meet new people, and it's difficult to transition every time, but you get something from associating with all these people. And so I think for me, being social and being engaged and involved in the community is very important, which is what I'm trying to implement this semester a lot more. And I think it's also really, like, it makes you happier. Like, if you're somewhere alone, it's like a lot less fun than if you're with friends, or like, I don't know, I think there's skills that apply to every part of your life. Also for work, like, you need to be able to socialize well. And you get a lot from it. You gain from other people's experiences. And I like to travel, so
So just
I want to
doing
do that,
as
take
much-
pictures.
So I want to meet a lot of people while traveling around the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good goal. All right, Dinithi, no pressure.
Okay, I'm up. I'd say that my goals right now are there's 2 main branches. One of them bleeds a little bit into work, but I'll talk about that in a
For
minute.
shame, not allowed.
No, sorry, but it's a really good way to do my work. So the first thing that I really want to do is kind of like physically see a lot of my family and friends that I've left behind, because it's like when your family and friends are just spread across like 12 different countries, you're not going to be able to meet them and like see them and speak face to face a lot. Even though there's Skype, there's WhatsApp, there's email, you can like talk to them, but it's like very different to like going back somewhere that you grew up or like that you've been for a long time and then seeing all these people again. So what I want to do is I'd really like to see my parents. So they're gonna come to Boston and visit me this year. I want to see one of my uncles and aunts who I haven't seen since last year, and I really want to see my brother. The last time I saw him was in December of last year. So when I see him again in December this year, it'll be 2 years. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him again, maybe kicking his butt a little bit. We'll see. And the other thing that I want to do is kind of push myself out of my comfort zone a lot more, because I feel like I've been kind of in an environment where I feel comfortable, where I'm not necessarily pushing myself too much. So this is where it bleeds a little bit into work. Because the project that I'm working on right now is detecting heavy metal concentrations in drinking water. And part of the project with the lab was like, hey, so we're gonna go to Tanzania and try and test all this stuff out for 10 weeks. And I was like, well, that sounds terrifying and amazing, so let me try and get in on that. So this summer I'm gonna try and travel to Tanzania and stay with a host family with a bunch of other people from my lab and do that for 10 weeks and see how it goes. So
That sounds
it's really, it's an amazing thing to be part of, but I'm also like, I have a deep fear at the same time. It's like
Why?
a good kind of fear.
Why?
It's like, I feel like this is the first time that I'm like really pushing myself
By
to-
yourself,
by myself to like really get out and like do something.
crazy. And,
Exactly,
in
yeah.
a totally different country where you don't
Yes.
speak the language. And
Yeah, I have to take Swahili classes. That's also
That's
gonna
super
be-
cool.
That's
But I mean,
really
you're going
amazing.
with a team of people.
Yes.
So,
yeah. 'Cause
and you
I-
want to
yeah.
do it, you know? I mean, you have the fear, but you want to do it, so
Mhm.
you will enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, so it's just I know that I'm gonna love it, but like there's like that little bit of fear just at the start.
yes,
But I'm like,
I
this is
understand.
gonna be amazing.
So
yes.
it is healthy.
a little bit of fear.
I don't know. I think it's really good. Like social interaction between like different groups of people who don't generally like know each other. I feel like that breeds social change. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of like the problems right now stem from ignorance, right?
Mhm.
So the more you talk with people, the more you interact, the better it gets. People are aware and they're like, oh, they're not scary at all.
Yeah.
I just want to jump off actually what you said, like visiting family members you left behind. So my family, I'm half English, so my dad's entire family is all in London, which means I see them once a year, if that. And my grandmother is very old school and like just turned 80 years old, so she does not have a computer. She has no internet access. She has a landline phone.
Oh.
And that's it. Like she has a TV, and that's it. So my goal since I've been in college has been to visit her as much as possible as well, because I can't talk to her because she has no connection to anything. And I just bumped the table. I just bumped the table before microphone. So I totally feel trying to catch up with people and seeing people. So that actually brings me to my next question now.
I forgot something very important that I didn't
What'd you
say.
forget?
Okay.
Yeah, because there's something that I really like doing, and it's teaching. And I think that is a way of changing the world. You know, when you teach people, when you educate. Sorry, I don't know why. I absolutely, I was like,
That's
wow.
absolutely true. I've actually found during the program here that I've enjoyed a lot of the experiences I've gotten where I have like TA'd or mentored or something of that sort.
Yes.
So I'm actually looking potentially for maybe things I can do in that vein for the summer at least.
Didn't you work at the Science Museum?
At the Math Museum.
Math Museum, yes.
There's a math museum?
Yeah, in New
Yeah,
York.
New York.
What?
I helped open it. It was great.
What?
Wow.
Alright, I guess I know what I'm
I know
doing
about
to go to
it.
New York City.
Now you
What
do.
do you do when you're in New York?
Yeah,
I need to learn.
But New York has
I
everything.
need to learn America.
You helped open it?
Yeah, I was the team before it opened. I was there through the first year opening.
Do we get a discount if we say so? I know
John,
John.
I mean,
I know the
I mean,
founder.
VIP treatment if you say his name.
Yeah.
I mean, if you come with me, hopefully we can run into like my old players and it'll be nice. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Hopefully they'll be nice. That's a good start.
Alright guys, so how are you, the next question is a follow-up from the question I just asked, and that is, how are you doing on accomplishing those goals? Because we all have these like very lofty goals to ourselves, and we're like, we're definitely gonna do it. It's like when you sign up for a gym membership on the 1st of January, and you're like, I'm definitely gonna go, and then you never go.
Yeah.
So how are you guys doing on actually accomplishing the goals that you've set outside of your work? Besides Dinithi, who actually is going to Tanzania. Already done.
She
I
is
have to make sure
traveling.
I apply for everything on time though, so that's like my spring break goal. It's like
Oh,
actually
visas
figure
and
out,
stuff?
yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I have to apply for that. So,
Same.
yeah, it's about time. Yeah.
For me, I guess I'm choosing to interact with people because this semester I'm getting a lot more involved in like on-campus activities. So last semester I joined rugby, I've been playing for a while, so like it's a lot of fun, and my teammates, they're awesome. But this semester I decided like, okay, like I know what college is like now, I can like add on some things, so I just became an engineering ambassador. My mentor is actually working with STEM Pathways, he's watching me right now.
The Vice President of Operations, Rohan.
Correct, yes. And I am also a pledge for Theta Tau professional engineering fraternity. It's a lot of fun, lots of really nice people, and we meet every single member. You have like a one-on-one with them, so you get to know like 100 people.
Yes.
You know, it's well on your way. I'm also in the Society of Women Engineers, and I applied to be a student ambassador, and I'm also going to apply for research. So I'm trying to be really involved. You know, I'm trying my best to like basically spread myself in all these different areas as much as possible, just to experience it all. If it's not for me, then I can always like pull back. But
And you're
just to try
accomplishing
it.
your goals. Like, you're actually setting out those goals and meeting them. All right, anyone else?
I feel like I've been doing better at my goals than I've felt like I've been doing at my goals constantly, which I'm guessing is probably a common thread for a lot of us, because when you are like in engineering, a lot of the work-life balance can seem very skewed, because it is. And,
Let's be very honest.
and so, you know, as far as like being true to myself, I've been trying, like I said, obviously, like that was a big decision, like I'm doing after that, I feel like I did the right thing for it, and hopefully, and I'm working on trying to figure out what I'm doing. I have a program I'm applying to in the summer for just an education-based thing. I'm looking at things there. I've surrounded myself with, I think, good friends who can check me when I am like not doing that, like Manu.
Have you eaten today? When was the last time you slept?
But yeah, and even as far as like doing other things like I want to do just outside of work, looking back and like I did, you know, I try, and so I did go to like the Women's March last year, and I went to the counter protest for that kind of alt-right rally that was in Boston as well, and you know, I'm trying to go to those when I can as well, and I know that there's the March for Our Lives coming up soon.
March 24th.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to keep myself grounded and do things like that. So I feel like when I look back and look at it, I actually feel like, oh, I actually kind of am doing it okay, but and in the moment I'm always like, oh my god.
It's
a
important
failure.
to not forget like all the progress that you've made and just to keep that in mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was so impressed by the Women's March, by the way. Like where I grew up, like they didn't have stuff like that. So I went to one here, and I was like,
No.
I love this.
Yes,
Like,
they're
I was
lovely.
so shook.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's also good to engage with local kind of community movements as well. So I know after that I like went to join some groups. One I thought was really interesting from an engineering perspective. So there's a group called Data for Black Lives, and not the same group, but also I remember I went to another group called Violence in Boston that and what they had in common was both of them very heavily leveraged, kind of actually trying to find actual like findable data to be able to use when presented with, say, someone like a official from City Hall, and to convince them of a certain course of action. And I thought that was very interesting, because I was like, oh, as an engineer, there's lots of ways engineers can even kind of do things that use their own skill sets for these movements that they might not think of otherwise.
That is really cool.
Okay, so I was thinking what to answer exactly, because I really feel that what I said before, it's been my goal in life for a long time, more than a decade maybe. So if I just want to like think about my last 2 years, that I moved to Boston almost 2 years ago. So I don't know if I have like, you know, it's not that I changed America at all. I mean, Trump, it wasn't me. It was just, you know, it was like the political result of an election and how the system works here. But my feeling is that since I got to BU, I've really been trying to kind of change a lot of things that I didn't like about BU. And it's not that I didn't like them because, I didn't like them. Just because I think we could do better. And not only as a like educational institution, but also like a scientific community. So I've been trying to change some things. I know that maybe the change is not seen. I hope it's for good, but we'll see. I did educate someone last semester. I hope. I don't know what my students are gonna say about that, but I try to teach that semester.
505, right?
605, yeah, 505.
605.
Yeah, it was like biomolecular engineering.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. But now I'm going back home. So part of the reason why I'm here, actually I didn't say this, but my country sent me. I was sent. Yes. So they sent me here. So now I'm going back, and I hope to take something interesting back regarding the science and engineering. Yes. I'm not saying that I came here to steal everything, but I'm coming back. I'm coming back with everything, okay?
He's taking the Declaration of Independence.
In a box.
Are we doing like the entire movie of National Treasure, but like from the Argentinian perspective, like the main character is Argentinian?
That's great.
That would honestly be amazing. We
It was
should
actually-
remake that movie.
It was actually leaked details of Manu's mission.
No, in Argentina, for instance, this is interesting. In Argentina, it's very different, right? Because it's another country, the university works in a different way, and the university in Argentina is very important in the political life of the country. And so what we did back home, like, we actually started a political party out of the university with the fellow students. Yeah, it's like a political party that exists. It hasn't won anything in the last 2 elections, but at least we got to like form a political party, go to elections, blah, blah, blah. And that's part of the change, just like showing people that they can do something. Again, we didn't win anything. I don't know what's gonna happen.
But you did it.
Yeah, we
you
just
did it.
try, just try and
Make a
gives
difference.
other people the feel that, so it wasn't just as I thought it was. Anyway.
Dinithi, how are you doing on accomplishing your goals? Besides, obviously, you
Yeah.
are pushing yourself out
Yeah.
there and going to a completely different country.
So I guess on the stance of maybe like reconnecting with a bunch of people who I've known over the years, I try to keep in like pretty regular contact with a bunch of them, and just try to like just message them at least like once a day, or like it's hard with the different time zones, like 12 hours ahead, 13 hours behind or whatever, but I try to message them at least like once in a while just to say, hey, how's it going, stay connected on social media. And I am actively like trying to go, like I've been in Boston for a while now, so I'm trying to like go back to other places, just get on a flight and like, so I'm planning to head back to Melbourne. I've only been there once to visit my aunt and uncle there, because they usually come out to like visit us. So I want to try and head there over December, stop in Singapore, just see everybody there. And I'm not sure about seeing my grandparents in Sri Lanka. They usually like they travel out to see the rest of us. But I'd like to like go back and like see them and like see the house, because like I have a lot of memories growing up there. So yeah, just like it'll just be juggling a lot of flights and like trying to stay in contact.
It sounds like it with the amount of family you have in all different places.
Yeah, we're
It's-
pretty spread out.
It's nice that your family members will come see you though. Like my grandmother hates America, so she just doesn't fly. She stopped flying here when I was like 9 years old.
See, but that's the thing, like my grandparents, like they enjoy America, they like coming to the US. Like the travel over is like difficult, but they like the US. They just refuse, like as soon as it starts to get like a little bit cold outside, my grandma's like, well, it was lovely seeing everyone,
Yeah.
but we gotta head out.
Exactly. My mom is the same. She
Yeah.
hates the weather.
So does my mom.
The first winter here,
So
I
do
thought
I.
I would die.
So
Is
does
it
Josh.
just a thing?
Josh is just a
Is it
person.
just like a mom thing? They don't do cold?
Apparently. And Josh, apparently.
And Josh is a mom
Moms
too.
and Josh. Don't do cold. Alright guys, so we're almost at something like 20-ish minutes, so do we have any like last remarks to tell everybody about, your life outside of STEM before we wrap it up?
I don't know. That thing that you said, my life out of STEM, I always thought my work as part of my life and my life as part of my work, which is not that I'm a workaholic,
But just that you love
but
what
it
you
means,
do.
no, it means that I'm looking to like create actual human connections with the people I work. And at the same time, it's like I do expect the people at work to come to my birthday, and not because I invited them, but just because they really want to have fun with me. So the last thing that I would say is that my personal advice, and this is just personal, you don't have to agree with this, is that if you start isolating your personal life, your professional life, at some point, half of your day you will miss the other half of your life. And that's dangerous. So don't become just a human being that works. Do not become just a human being that has fun. Try to be complete. Find your path.
It's good piece of advice.
That's really good.
Anyone want to follow up on that?
I guess for me it's just I was really worried about like commitments because like I'm also overloading almost every semester.
It sounds like yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get out of here a year early. And so I guess I was really worried about having like social commitments as well as academic commitments. But I feel like, academics will come. I think a lot of people aren't really honest with themselves about how they spend their time. And they're like, well, if I start doing this like sport, then I'm gonna have less time to study. But really, you're just taking time off from Netflix. Like it's like honestly, like I was off season for a month, and all I did was watch TV in the time that I would have been in the gym. And I still ate like I was going to the gym. So like that's where the freshman 15 came from. But so I'd say like don't be afraid to push yourself and to just try new things, because academics is always gonna come later. Like whether or not you plan for it, it's gonna happen, and I think just do what you want to do and everything else will fall into place.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And take care of yourself, and also yes, enrich yourself, like Dinithi, where you're saying like there are these cool things and you're like, oh, I want to do these things, even though it might be a little scary. Those, in my opinion, those are the best things to do, because you are becoming a more person, I guess, when you're adding to yourself.
You were
when
less of
you're
a
doing
person,
that.
but now
Yeah, you're just adding more things to yourself, and that's always good. And like you said, in the future, either you like it or you don't like it, and you have that experience. And yeah, I mean, there's no like exact formula to how to, I guess, do these things. I know I certainly like I've said, I always perpetually feel like, oh no, I'm doing this wrong. But I noticed that's a fine feeling to have, as long as you remember to step back from time to time and just reflect.
I think that's like the quote of my life.
Mhm.
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Representative.
I guess building off of what you were talking about, Josh, I remember that when I first came to BU and like I started doing all my engineering classes and like trying to get involved, I kept comparing myself to what other people were doing. And I was thinking, oh, I'm not nearly committed enough because like my roommate has all these other things that she's doing, or I'm not making the most out of my time here. Because when I look at my lab partner, they're like doing so much more.
Or Rohan, who's president of everything.
You know what? Yeah.
Grow him too.
But
Such
then
an overachiever.
Honestly.
he really is. He's the poster child for overachievement.
Rogan's the source of my imposter syndrome.
We love him anyway.
We love him.
Yeah.
Let that be stated, we love Rohan.
Yeah. But that really starts like just a cycle of negativity where you forget what you have done and what you are doing. So I think that what really helped me was to like take a step back and sit and kind of think, why am I doing BME? What about it do I enjoy? How does that bleed into all the other areas of my life and make it better? And I can't compare myself to other people because everybody else has their own formula and their own system. So I just have to find mine. And that's been like just taking baby steps over like the last 2 years, just to kind of find a place where I'm happy with what I'm doing and I know like what I want to do going forward. So I guess just trying to find like your own balance of what you're trying to do. That's the most important thing. Okay.
Yeah, and that's a really good place to tie it up. We've definitely good conversation, guys. So straight at you from STEM Pathways at BU second podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Invisible audience, please thank our panelists. Just silence. We can edit in laughter there.
Again,
And
story of my life.
just silence.
Yes.
All right.
Good.
Definitive ending.